I've been tattooing for 29 years. I started in 1988. I love tattooing and I will do it as long as I can physically, but it's nice for me to like explore other art forms. I lived in Japan briefly and I learned a lot about the mythology and the meanings behind a lot of the designs. And the more I got into it and the more I learned about it, the more I started to really fall in love with the style, and I became like really obsessed with making a Japanese tattoo that looked like it was done in Japan by a Japanese artist. I did an art show at the Somerset House in London. It was a cast of a woman's body, and I painted on it in indigo blue, a lot of dragon tattoo designs on it. And ever since then, I've been thinking like, man, how cool would it be to do that on porcelain? I found out about this place. I just started coming here 6 months ago, and I've been doing a lot of stuff on plates and bowls and vases, and I'm starting to get better and better at it. And hopefully in a year or so I'll be ready to do it on a larger scale, something very intricate. I think one of the things that's cool about this compared to tattooing too is if I make a mistake, I can just throw this thing in the garbage. You know, if I mess up on somebody, they have to live with that for the rest of their life. You know, this is not, even though it's a beautiful thing, I would hate to break it, but there's definitely not as much stress. So it's a nice hobby to have. Visual art's always been my strong point, so try to stick with what my skill set is the best at. If you only do one thing all the time, you're going to get a little bit burned out on it, I think. I'm trying to make my art harmonize with Reese's pieces here. She's making these beautiful vessels, you know, I'm trying not to like screw them up.
For me, like ceramics is forever. So I think for some people, tattoos are forever. So I always felt that these two can kind of combine together and then work in a good sense. So I was just like kind of finding, or I was just looking for somebody that would be willing to do that. And then I've gone through some people that have done it, but it is time consuming and it is a lot of like trial and error. And it's not instant because after this process, it goes through another 3 firings, 4 firings, and then to see the final, it's just like you might not get anything that you wanted. So it's, for some people, the whole lengthy process of that is just too much. But I don't know, I think Chris really likes hanging out with me, so he keeps coming back.
Yeah, even if I screw up.
Yeah,
you know?
He's like, oh, it's cool. So, pretty happy. Chris knows what he's doing, and then I know what I'm doing. So we're just trying to like work those two parts together, and I think figure out what we're trying to get.
I think you know what you're doing, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
You know what you're doing. Sometimes.
Learning new things, it's not always easy. And you know, practice makes perfect. You just have to keep pushing yourself. And then the more you do it, the better you get, and the easier it becomes. And then it gets boring, and then you quit and do something else. I'm just kidding. No, it's fun to do new stuff, that's for sure.